What's up, carnivores? Zach here with American Smoke, and today we're doing my 1 year with the Beast review. I don't know if y'all have got one of these. I don't know if you're shopping for one of these, but if you're wondering, if I buy it today, what's gonna be going on a year from now? Because I need to make a good purchase, and I wanna know that it's gonna last. Because you know why? Times are tough and uncertain. The value of the dollar is not what the value of the dollar used to be. So we gotta make sure we buy things, we get a good one. Y'all stick around in this video. I'm gonna go over Zach's 1 year review of the Pit Boss Pro Series Vertical. First of all, let's talk about a pro to this unit that I am gonna share with y'all that has kind of stood out to me over the course of a year. And that is the fact that this thing still works. I know that might not seem like much, but it is. I've had it for a year and it still works. Guess what that means? That means I've still got 4 years left on my warranty direct from Pit Boss. I don't have to pay no stupid extra extended warranty package, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to do any of that. I bought this thing and it comes with a 5-year warranty. It's working after a year, still got 4 left. Hopefully next year I'm doing a review, and 4 years from now, I'm doing my 5-year review before my warranty goes out on this thing. I think it's gonna be fine. Another pro that I like about this unit is the hopper capacity. If you watched my 6-month review, I've kind of flip-flopped a little bit. I'm almost like a senator or a congressman, Republican, Democrat, what do you call them? Politician. Flip-flop, flip-flop, flippy-flap, back and forth. I used to think this was a great thing, and in the 6-month period, I thought, I don't know. Now I'm like, I kind of like my big hopper. The reason I have flip-flop, flippity-flap-flapped on the hopper is that I just fill this thing up with Pit Boss competition blend pellets, and I use my smoke tube. And that's one of the things that really changed how I use my smoker in the past 6 months is the introduction of the smoke tube and the accepting that it helps and the using it all the time. Because I just put the competition blend in here, and whatever I want to put into my food as far as a more dramatic, intense flavor of burnt wood, I just put that in my smoke tube. And that takes care of that for me. And so therefore, I just throw it in there and I don't worry about it. I keep it full. Man, I can burn this thing for 3 days straight without having to worry about anything, really, as far as my pellets are concerned. I have never personally had a cavitation. Now, I don't know if y'all have had a cavitation in y'all's pellet smokers. I don't know if you even know what a cavitation is. But we're gonna talk about it right now. What a cavitation is, you got all these little pellets and they're all sitting in there all stacked up. But eventually, they catch and they catch. And then the auger's spinning and it pulls out and they're all stacked up just right and nothing's moving so they don't fall. The next thing you know, you've got this whole empty area up underneath the cavitation and you run out of pellets and your smoker goes out. 1 year of use never happened to moi. If that's happened to you, let me know in the comments below. I would like to know what your experience was like, because I have seen people say that that has happened to them. Now that we're talking about my first con, it has to do with the ambient temperature of the chamber. And this is something that I was very unaware of until later on in using this unit. You've got a thermometer right here on the side of your unit that pops out right in there. We talked about keeping that clean, how important it is to keep that clean. It pops out right in the back corner back there, and heat shoots out of this vent right here. And sometimes what I have noticed is that I will be running it and it'll say it's at 225. And what I've done is I'll hang this. This is my meat probe. I'll just sort of hang that in there like that. And I have also gotten, if y'all have seen a couple of my videos, a Meter Plus, which is a fantastic barbecue tool, by the way. It measures the temperature of the meat on the inside, and then the outside of the meter measures the ambient temperature of your chamber. This and the ambient reading from the meter do not go with what this thing tells me that it is. If the control panel on the Pit Boss says I'm running at 225, this one will say 205. The meter might say 200. It has shown me that maybe the reason that I like cooking my ribs at 250 instead of 225 is because the way you get good ribs is to cook them at 225, and the way I get the front of my chamber up to 225 is to run the control panel at 250. And this is the way it's gonna go with whatever smoker you get. It doesn't matter if you get a stick burner. It don't matter if you get a charcoal fed. It don't matter if you get an electric smoker. It don't matter if you get one of these pellet smokers. It don't matter. You've gotta learn your unit. And after a year, that's what I have learned. I have constantly learned to adjust my temperatures a little higher than what typically is called for to get the result that I want to get. And I get good results because I learn and I adapt and I adjust and I overcome and then I eat it and it's good. It's real good. So that is a con. That is a con, is that if this thing tells me that my chamber is running at 225 degrees, what I have found, it's not the case. I have to turn it up a little bit to get my temperature the way I want it. The next con also has to do with temperature. And this is something that I've also learned about my unit. And like I said, with any barbecue unit you get, you're gonna have to learn how to use it and optimize your use with it the way that it cooks. And the way that I have learned to optimize my cooking with this unit based on how it performs, the big learning curve come from me learning that around the sides and across the back, where the vents are, where the heat and the smoke comes up into the unit from the burn pot, the sides and the back are much hotter, which is where our little thermometer is back there. Just in case you were wondering where it was, it's in the very hot area. If I have cooked wings, or if I'm smoking some bacon, or if I'm just smoking chicken, I have noticed that around the sides and the back, you have to rotate. You have to be willing to rotate. If you're cooking a Boston butt, if you're cooking a brisket, if you're cooking ribs, you're gonna notice that the ribs along the ends and across the back are gonna cook much faster, which works kind of to your advantage if you're looking for a good pullback on those ribs. Just turn the bone side towards the back of the chamber and you're gonna be good to go. I recommend periodically rotation. So that's my 1 year of experience. Periodically, you need to rotate your proteins or whatever it is that you've got in the chamber in order to get a more consistent cook around the whole entire surface and the inside of the meat. Keep that in mind. That is a con, but both of those cons are things that you kind of just have to work with. It's not necessarily only for this unit. Every unit you get is going to be different. And that's the way that this unit works. Let's get on to the next pro. Couple pros. And this is something that you're going to notice as you shop for units, or if you've already shopped and you chose this one, might be one of the reasons you chose what you chose. And one of them is that this thing has got great casters on it. The wheels are heavy duty and they're larger. They're not these teeny tiny little wheels. Y'all noticed I keep mine up here on my deck and there's a lot of little ridges in the deck. I've got a big handle back here on the back and it just makes it really easy to move this thing around. Super easy. I have no problem maneuvering my unit. If you've had some other units that you've noticed are a little harder to maneuver because they don't have a handle sometimes, and then sometimes they got these little tiny wheels that get caught up on anything and fall into any little hole. So that's a big pro for me. And I'm reaching here, folks. I'm trying to find some good things for y'all and some bad things for y'all, because if you watched my initial review, which I'll leave a link to, maybe right here. Wait, if I'm facing the camera, it's gonna be right here, isn't it? Oh yeah, baby, I'm getting better. And if you watch my 6-month review, I pointed out pros and cons in that one. I'll leave a link to that one right here as well. You can check that out, or I highly recommend you finish this video and I'll leave links to those videos at the end. Very maneuverable, easy to move around. If you're the type that keeps it in a covered area and moves it out onto your driveway or something every time you do a cook, this is gonna really help you out and make things much easier for you. Next, something I have come to appreciate. If you've watched my how to keep clean videos, I have told you that the best way to keep this glass clean is to wash it with a Clorox wipe or something similar after every cook. Now I have intentionally, y'all are probably noticing Zach's smoker is disgusting. Blech. Look at it. That's a year of use, folks. It's a year of use. But I've also not been cleaning my glass and not doing all this stuff because I'm about to do a big time how to deep clean your entire unit after a lot of use, because I'm going to tell you something. You get little things, little bits of creosote and all this stuff that gets built up on the inside that flakes off, and I found a couple pieces laying on my food. It's not cool. It's not cool. I've never told anybody and they've eaten some of it. That's not what people want to hear. But we got to clean that off so it gets flaking off on my food. I'm going to show you how to do that coming up. Y'all make sure to check that video out. But the pro that I'm talking about, and this is if you allow the glass to get behind, some people like to use a razor scraper and some people try to clean it while it's still on the unit. It is very easy to just remove the door, carry it down to wherever you keep your water hose or, you know, whatever. Maybe you like to put yours in a bathtub. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend that. Clean it, bring it back, and set it on. And now, that's the reason I say, you know, if you can clean it after every cook, do that, because then you don't have to pull it off. But it's very easy to pull off. It's not set on set hinges that you have to remove in order to remove the door. Just a little little tap up, comes off. So that's a big pro for me. I really like that, and I've not had much trouble. A con. Now this is something that's recently happened, and I've had other people ask me about it. I have not had as much trouble with my door sealing as some people have. I don't get smoke coming out of my door. Other people do. But I have had a little bit of wear and tear on my handle right here. See how it's not fully latching? I can fix this with just a little bit of work, I think, but I haven't done it yet. But I usually just pull up on it with my finger. When you get ready to open it, it still opens and closes. But some people have issues with their seal. And what I have seen people do is you can get aftermarket latches, and a lot of people put one at the top and one at the bottom, and then that sort of fixes that problem. I've also had somebody tell me that they have bought some aftermarket seal, heat resistant seal, and went around the door. That also has fixed that problem as well. So that's something that you can put in your pocket and take with you. Little extra wisdom from Senor American Smoke. But let's go ahead and get into yet another con. So, on to that con. This is a surprise to me over the course of the year that has slowly begun to fester in the back of my brain back here. And that is totally goes against one of the reasons I bought this unit. I bought this unit because I just saw shelf, 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 shelf. Space, 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 food, 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 food. I thought, man, I can cook so much daggone barbecue, I ain't gonna know what to do. Let me tell you something. I don't own a restaurant, and I don't entertain a bunch of people all the time. And what I have realized is that I don't use a lot of that space. And one of the big tugging factors on me that made it hard for me to decide whether I was gonna get this one or whether I was gonna get one of the barrel type pit bosses was space. Big time for me, space. I can cook more. Or sear plate. I thought, I like to sear my food over hot charcoal because that's how I've always done it, and that's how I'm always gonna do it. But I think I want a sear plate. I think I want a sear plate. I don't use all this space. I just don't. I've never cooked 5 briskets or 12 Boston butts or 30 racks of ribs, whatever they say these things will hold. I've never done that. I'm usually cooking for 10 people max, and you can get that done on 2 shelves. You can get that done if you've got like the Austin XL or something like that. You can get that done easy on the barrel type grill. And then next thing you know, if you want to, if you're cooking wings and you don't want to fire up the grill to get sear on them, or if you don't want to fire up the grill to sear a reverse seared steak that you cooked up to temp in the smoker, you don't have to do that if you got a sear plate. You just open it up, turn it on high, rock and roll, baby. I'm gonna consider perhaps getting a second smoker for smaller cooks so that I have access to the sear plate. Y'all let me know what y'all decide. If you really cook for a lot of people, or maybe you cook barbecue and then you shrink wrap it and freeze it and heat it up later, and that's a very viable option. I do that on Boston butts all the time. I'll cook extra pork and I'll shred it and put it in vacuum seal bag and I'll warm it up later. You can't even tell that it's been frozen. I highly recommend you do that if you're not doing that. No sear plate. That's a con for me. I have over a year. Yeah, I've changed, and I think I like the idea of the sear plate. I see people using them on other videos, and I get a little bit jealous. Usually when Zach gets jealous, he spends some money. Let's get on to my final pro of this unit, and that is, over the course of a year, I've learned the importance of not just cleaning the unit, but ways to make it easier to clean the unit. And one of the ways that you make it easier to clean the unit is, 1, you clean the glass on a regular basis if being able to see the food is something you're concerned about. 2, you use trays and you use aluminum foil. The answer to the question of how to make using this unit easier to where I'm not constantly having to clean it and not constantly having to worry about getting it all cleaned up because it's got gunk all over it is to use aluminum foil. Get you some of these, $1 a piece, $2 a piece, wherever you go, I don't know. You can dump that out, throw it away, put your brand new one in there. You can spray it out with a water hose, stick it back in there. Also serves as a second water pan to keep plenty of moisture inside your chamber. I've learned to wrap up my pit boss water pan in foil, and I've learned to wrap up my drip pan that catches my drippings and runs them back to the back. I've learned to wrap both of those in foil, and when I get done and I want to clean it off, I don't have to get out the daggone bench grinder and a pressure washer and the degreaser and the elbow grease and everything else that you have to do to actually get that stuff to come off, because it's not easy. But if it's on foil, you just wad it up into a little ball, you throw it at somebody, hit them in the head. No. It makes it so much easier. So that's been a big pro for me over the last year. Something I've learned, that if you just take the time to put some aluminum foil down, it makes your life much easier, much easier. I've also gotten better at using my control panel. Big pro is the use of the control panel, the use of the recipes. I've got a video on that. I'll recommend that you check that out. You know, I'll leave a little something up here somewhere. You can check out that video on how to use the control panel, to use the recipes, to have more control of your cooks, to have less anxiety during your cooks, and to, you know, just be better at what you're doing, which is why you're watching this video, because you want to be good. You want to eat good. We all want to eat good. We all want to do good. We all want to be good. And here at American Smoke, guess what? We are good. And you're one of my friends because you're watching my video. That means, guess what? You're good, or you're going to be good. There's no way that you're not going to. Just keep it up. Keep smoking. Keep the smoke rolling. Keep trying. Keep eating. Keep watching these videos. Find out your own pros, your own cons. Share them with me in the comments section down below. And guess what? Every time you learn something you tell me about, I'm gonna learn something too. And every time I learn something, I'll make a video, you're gonna learn something. And we're gonna be getting better and better and better. Man, it's good. Ain't it good to be a carnivore that owns one of these things? Whether it's this type or the barrel type, whether you got a sear plate or no sear plate, whether the glass is clean or not, it don't matter. It's always gonna taste good, and that's what's important. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I hope you benefited from it. First and foremost, hope you benefited. If you did, make sure to smash that like button for me. Consider becoming a subscriber to my channel. If you are a subscriber, or if you're considering becoming a subscriber, hit that notification bell. That way you get a little notification every time I put out a video. That way you can keep up with what's going on, and you know, we can learn together. Thank y'all so much. It's been a great year working with y'all and making videos for y'all and talking with y'all and getting to know several of you. I look forward to the next year with this unit. Thank y'all so much again, and we'll see y'all in the next video.